Welcome back to Roundtable. I'm Caleb Baker with Baker Overland.
And I'm Jacob Biddle with Eagles Overlanding.
So the chat is actually open, and you guys can drop your comments or questions, anything you want to down there. We will respond in the chat as we see it. Do the best we can, and we're glad you guys are joining us. All right. So first thing, Jacob,
Yes.
I actually didn't think you were going to for sure be able to make the recording time because I got a text message about another breakdown. You want to tell us about that?
Oh man. So I had posted on Facebook. I was selling some spindles I had gotten for my truck. They were the wrong size, so it's been sitting in the garage. Had a guy message me and said, "I'll send you a shipping label and some PayPal, and if you could ship them to me." So I was like, "Oh, I'm not doing anything. I'll go ship them." I went to get in my truck and I went to put my key in the ignition, and it struggled to turn past accessory, but I got it to go. And so I was like, all right, we're good. So I went to FedEx. And then, after I shipped the box or shipped the spindles, I went to get back in my truck and went to stick the key in the ignition. Would not go past accessory. Now, somewhere, I carry three truck keys with me.
What?
I don't recommend you do that, but I carry three truck keys with me. None of them worked. I tried them every which way, would not go past accessory. So I called my grandpa, and I literally was like, "Please help me! I can't get my truck to start." And he goes, "You're smarter than that." Um,
Ouch.
but I ended up saying I gave more context and was like, "I can't get my key to turn past accessory." And he goes, "Yeah, your ignition coil sounds like it's froze up." Now, driving a truck for 20 or driving a 23-year-old truck as a daily driver, sticking the key in and out, it's
Sure.
going to get worn. Um, she's over here thinking that's what she said.
I was gonna say,
Anyways,
man, I was biting my tongue.
anyways, so I called him and he walked me through how to take it all apart. Super easy, luckily. And when I say that this took a lot of luck, I mean it took luck. I am lucky that my key would go to accessory mode because to take the coil out, your key has to be in accessory mode, and then you push in this little pin, and the whole coil comes out, and then you can replace it. So yeah, that was my evening. I was a little
So
worried that I
crazy,
wouldn't be
dude.
coming home today, but I did.
Dude, that's so bizarre. Yeah. So in my truck, oh well, I guess my truck's push start. So I guess that I've never had that particular issue. But man, I was moving so we sell those Sprinter vans and like the Ford 148s that
Yeah.
people convert into campers through OZK vans. And I did have an issue one time where I stuck the key in, and those vans are kind of high, so I used the steering wheel to pull myself up, and the steering wheel locked, and that
Yeah.
locks that ignition. And dude, I was like sitting there on my phone on YouTube for probably a good half an hour, like, what did I do? Like the key won't turn. Finally, I realized it was just the steering lock. Stupid, and did the release, and then it was fine.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, that's a freak out moment.
Well, now my truck, I could stick the key in, start the truck, and pull the key back out. That's a sign that something's
Okay.
about to go out. That's
Yeah.
not normal. So I
I'm
let it roll like that for 2 years, and then it finally gave out.
crazy.
So
I'm
now I
glad you
carry
made it.
five keys.
Of course. Of
Five
course.
keys. So
Just keep
until
adding
I
keys.
I just gotta rekey my doors, which will probably never happen, and then I can go back to carrying two keys.
Or just
So,
one, like a normal person.
I have locked myself out of my truck.
That's true. That's true.
So maybe I'll put one somewhere on the truck. So if you're listening, you might know there's a key somewhere on the truck.
Yeah, dude. I don't know if we may need to edit this out. Everyone's gonna know exactly how to steal your rig. You can steal Jacob's
Ah,
rig. You'll have a pretty sweet rig that you can get out and go explore and then get stuck in. So there's that.
yep.
Okay, so let's talk about your video. You're chasing the snow. I just got to watch it earlier today. You just released it. I mean, I know that
Yes, I did.
you released it not that long ago. So tell me, like, what's kind of the I know that one wasn't as much of like a theme video for you. That was more of just like documenting an experience. But talk a little bit about the idea or the planning on that one.
So I am a big fan of, well, I say I'm a big fan. just recently I've been binge watching The Story Till Now, with Sean, and I the quality of his videos are pretty freaking sweet, and of course
Yeah.
the location of where he's at doesn't help me out at all, but I like the style he does his videos, and I'm also an ex Overland fan too,
Yeah, they're
so I've
good.
been watching some of their stuff. So that's where the idea of this video came from, is trying to mimic a similar style to what they do, but do it for this video.
Yeah. Oh, it's super cool. I love I wanted to go camping when the snow hit just to be able to capture some of that. It changes up, so much of our videos are, it's like leaves on the trees, no leaves on the trees. And that's pretty much visually what you get in the Ozarks. So when we get snow or ice, it's always awesome to get out there and capture some of that.
And it's always on the weekdays too.
It always happens
If,
on the weekdays.
if it wasn't a weekday when most of us have day jobs.
I know it. I know it, man. It's brutal. I think I sent you a text message when it first, like we first started getting the snow and ice. And I was like, dude, this is making me want to go.
Yep, yep. And then
I
you
know.
go out while I'm headed home from work at whatever time, 3:30, and I'm like, I'm on my way. And you're like, I'm already headed back. Dang it.
Yeah. So, okay. That was kind of so this will kind of get into the planning and I was going to talk a little bit about that, but like on my video, so first of all, mine wasn't going to be mine's called Being a Dad, and it wasn't going to be about family at all. I didn't have a plan for it at all. I was just like going to go out and will document the trip. And
Mm-hmm.
then when you showed up on Saturday,
Yep.
and I don't know if I was getting some shots of the kids or what, but obviously I had my kids with me. And you said, dude, I see this one being like a family theme for you, right?
Yep. I
Yeah.
did. Something about your kids specifically, but yeah.
Yeah. Or something about the kids, something about, and at first I was like, I don't know, man. I don't really know what I would do with that. And as kind of as the trip progressed, and that was sitting in my mind the whole time, and I kept getting these shots and just kind of letting it, soak up. And then when I came back and sat down, that was really where I was like, I think that's what I want to do on this one is that story. It was definitely not intentional going into it, but I'm glad you suggested it.
Oh, made an amazing video.
Thanks,
Again,
bro. Thanks,
top
bro.
three.
Well, okay, so the trip got cut short
Yeah.
for me, and which is kind of tying into what we're talking about getting out in the snow. So um let's jump to this. So let's talk about production hurdles. We hit this question in the last one that we did, and I think that this is an interesting topic. So before I talk about my stuff, let's go to you. So from your video standpoint, the chasing the snow video, what are some things that you encountered that were challenges or just different?
Ooh. So this one, see, starting from the beginning, we ended up dealing with rain towards the end. So there was a lot of shots I wanted to get. Now, I don't, if you go back and watch, the video chasing the snow, whenever I transitioned from leaving Taylor to go meet up with Overlanding Adventures of America, there's a drone shot in there
Mm-hmm.
of me driving on pavement. That drone shot's actually from the wash toss.
Ah.
And yeah, let my secrets out, I know. But I wanted a drone shot of us going to OARC on pavement, but I couldn't do it because it was raining or it was misty, so I wasn't comfortable sending the drone up. So I just went through my archives and
Mm-hmm.
I grabbed whatever looked closest to a cloudy day or whatever. So that would have been one. And then let's see, going to OARC, I wanted to film with Roy and Gilbert with the Overlanding Adventures of America, but I'm still not 100% confident in myself, or what's the word? What's the word I'm looking for? I guess confident. Like I'm not comfortable just pulling out a camera in front of random people and
I think
talking to
I
it. I
think if
can't do
you
that
are
yet.
like I think if you are like completely comfortable with that, something's probably a little off with you. Like anybody. You know what I mean? Like just popping out a camera in public is awkward. And nobody wants to think that they're like some sort of pretend influencer out there, like, selling t-shirts or something. You know what I mean? Like, so
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think that we get in our head a lot. And I find that a lot of times people that, there's this Instagram page that I follow called Influencers in the Wild, and it's hysterical. And, and it's just people that don't have any sort of like social, I don't know what the term is, but they're too confident for their own good. Like they're out there like just being ridiculous and setting up their phone and doing these like dances in airports and stuff when people are like trying to walk by and they're like, "Excuse me, can you save your TikTok thing?"
Hmm.
And so I think that's kind of sitting in the back of our mind when we're documenting these experiences. Nobody wants to be taken as like that, tone deaf weirdo out there filming themselves. So I get that.
So,
Well, go ahead. What are you gonna say?
so when we were in Art Cafe, in the video, there's a shot of me showing the burger that I ordered, and then Savannah eating her burger. That was with my cell phone, and whenever I was doing that, the waitress actually walked up to us and goes, "You getting a video of it?" And that was so weird for me. I didn't
I
want
know.
anybody. I don't want anybody to know that I'm filming this burger. So
Right,
there's only
right.
one shot of that. I wasn't gonna get more after that.
Yeah, I think that there's a balance between, you know, not making it awkward, but then also getting the content that that's going to help tell the story. So we're both relatively new in this space too. It's also a lot easier when you're doing a bigger production. Like if there's more than one person filming, I think that kind of gives you that like this is legit. Don't think we're weirdos. Um, but yeah, no, it definitely crosses my mind. I don't like filming in public either.
So, just to add to another hurdle, when it comes to the drone shots, if you go further in my video, after we separate from you, there's three clips, I think there's three, of me driving my truck. And and to film those, now I don't recommend anybody do this, but I had Savannah, she took a hold of the steering wheel while I could control the drone through all that. So I
She
don't
could have
recommend
just
doing that.
she could have just driven the truck, Jacob.
She won't drive it. I can't get her to drive it. She's only driven one car, and
Yeah.
she claims that'll be the only car. But she'll be in a full runner here soon. She's
No,
shaking her
that's
head
cool.
no.
Okay, let's see here. So interesting production hurdles on my end. So on day two, we're making our way up to White Rock
Yep.
and had plans to try to get some cool photography up there, maybe throw the drone out. The place is beautiful. If you guys that are watching this, if you haven't been up there, if you're from this area and you haven't been up there, you're missing out. You got to go. And if you're not from this area and you make your way down here, that needs to be a destination point you check out. It's absolutely gorgeous. So, plan was to run up there and just tying into this being a dad, Jacob, you'll learn this someday. Um, Sometimes you've got to pivot based off the needs of your kids. And I've always said, like, when I'm filming, if it ever becomes not fun for them, uh, we call a halt, because at the end of the day, it's more important that the experience is good for the people on the trip than it is that we document this for people watching the videos. Like, I'm not going to make my kids go through something that they don't enjoy just so I can throw a video up.
Yeah.
And they was going great. They were having a blast. Everything was going good. And Abraham, his stomach just started getting messed up. He started feeling bad. And next thing I know, he's like, Dad, I think I got to use the restroom. This right after we had gotten a drive-by shot. And I was like, no problem, dude. He didn't have his shoes on. So I just like picked him up and we like ran over. There was like this big boulder and we like ran over behind that. It was an emergency situation. So I was like, all right, he's just going to go to the bathroom. We get back there and he just pukes everywhere. Like,
Mm.
and I don't know if it's something he ate or what it was. Anyways, at that point, I knew this trip's over for me. Like, I'm not going to make a sick kid, stick out so
Yeah.
I get these shots. So I go to you, me and you have that conversation. I'm like, bro, I'm
Yep.
sorry, which I hated doing because I know that you're still working through some of the issues with your truck and it's not a great feeling to just be completely solo.
Right.
But I was like, these are like Forest Service roads. He's not doing major wheeling. Like, he'll be okay.
Which I did mention that in the video that normally I don't wheel solo,
I
but these
know.
are Forest Service roads. I had been on these,
That's
so
why I said it, because I know you said that.
now going back to, I think it was okay that your Abraham got sick because once we got up to the top of White Rock, you couldn't see 10 feet in front of you. So
Yeah.
foggy, super foggy.
Yeah.
So that my video ended short, because of that, which I hated. But
Right.
oh well.
Well, and it kind of worked out for me. We all got back home, got him taken care of. He was feeling much better. He actually said he was 100% fine after that. So much so he's like begging to eat, which is why we stopped at that little burger joint on the way back, and I got those closing shots. That was after he was sick. He ate the burger and was fine. So, that just happens sometimes with kids. But the point that I'm trying to make is what was cool was once we got back, um, I obviously had shots I needed to get. I did not get enough content on that trip. And
Right.
then the snow and ice hit. And so our office closed. I went into the office on Monday. The office closed down. I went home and I told my wife Summer, I was like, I'm gonna go drive up to Parker Mountain and get the shots that I need, which turned out to be incredible because um that dark brown muddy road next to like pristine white crystal looking trees, like, dude, that those shots, I was like, I've got to be really careful here or I'm gonna like bore people to death with nothing but drone shots of this because it was so pretty.
It was pretty. And I
So
missed
yeah,
out.
I know you should have come, man. We should have worked that out. It was
We
kind of
should have.
the last minute deal though.
I mean, I had the opportunity to get off work because I lived the furthest out of all these guys. I mean, they live 2 minutes from work, and I'm 30 minutes to an hour, depending on the day. But I chose to stay. Extra hours, extra pay. It's always nice.
Yeah, no, sometimes that's what you got to do. Then one other funny thing that stands out to me was, um, I mentioned this in the video, but for a long time I was super like kind of insecure, uncomfortable with like the cooking shots because there's people that either love it and or hate it, and they're very vocal about it. I had a comment.
Taylor.
Yeah, exactly. And that's fine. If it's not for you, it's not for you. Like, I'm not saying you got to enjoy it, but early on when I started the channel, I won't rehash all this because I used some of it in my voiceover, but I had people that said your videos are great except for the cooking stuff, and I've always wanted to incorporate the comment from Nathan Anderson that he put on there where he was like, what is overlanding if not driving to nowhere to cook? Because it just cracks me up. Like, when all these guys are talking about definitions of overlanding, they're like, well, overlanding is a multi-day trip where you're camping out of your rig, or no, overlanding can be a 1 day, and everyone's arguing about what the difference is, off-road, mudding, and overlanding. I love his
Mm-hmm.
definition. It's a driving to nowhere to cook. Like, that's what overlanding
I remember that comment. I think I'm pretty
is.
sure.
Yeah.
I remember. I mean, I there. Oh, what video was it? Was it the one you made your music video with all those cooking comments?
Maybe I can't remember. I've had them on a couple different ones, but the one that I was thinking of in particular, I believe, was the very first video I ever did.
Oh
I
yeah, yeah.
think that was it. Okay, what is anything that stands out to you that was funny that happened on your trip? Humorous? I mean, you got Taylor there, so I figure you got something.
Yeah, and those should not be said on camera, unfortunately.
Dude,
That's a lot of campfire
why
talk.
is he not on here?
That's what I thought. Like, I thought about texting him last minute and being like, "Hey, download Zoom real quick, get on this with us." But
Dude, we're getting
who
him on the
knows what
next
he's
one.
doing? We
Yeah, we're getting
are.
him on the next one. He needs to be on.
Uh, as far as funny goes, man, I don't. I can't really think of anything off the top of my head that would have been funny.
I think
I
for
mean, I guess
me,
other than a random comment you made,
What was that?
Lennon was eating a bag of gummy bears, and you're like, "This is very." Your mother's going to think this is very nutritious, or the most nutritious
See now.
choice, or something like that.
Okay, so you notice the gummy bears. None of those shots made it into the video, and now you're throwing me
Uh-huh.
under the bus. I'm hoping that
I
my wife
almost put
doesn't
it in
watch
mine.
this. I'm glad you didn't. Yeah, sometimes dads get a little leeway when the wife's not on the trip. He can load them up with
It's
sugar and then tell them to go to bed.
vacation.
Yeah, that's right. We just do it all the time.
Oh, okay. Well, that changes things.
So for me, one of the funny moments was I love giving my kids a camera when I can, and they enjoy it and going out and shooting. I've never incorporated that footage in my videos before because it's never good, but it's always funny.
Right.
Um, and with this one, with your suggestion of making this a family one, I'm like, you know what? This is the time. This is the one time I'm going to use this GoPro footage. So I like actually sat down and watched all of it, and I've got like a ton. Probably it's north of 20 gigs of GoPro footage they got.
Jeez.
Like they went through 3 memory cards on
Oh, wow.
yeah. And I didn't even know they were just swapping them out. So I mean, it's a ton of stuff. But I went through a lot of it and I found those segments where they were imitating the Bear Grylls show. I was like, okay, this is pretty funny. So that was fun. That was a funny moment. Okay, so a funny, sketchy moment that happened right before you got to my camp.
Okay.
Um, I I think I told you about this. If not, this will be the first time. So we had just gotten set up at that
Oh, the
spot.
Honda Civic guy?
Yes, the Honda Civic guy.
Ah,
Yes, okay, I
okay.
did tell you. So yeah, so this is not a super difficult place to access. Pretty much anybody can get there, but there are some mud holes. There were some, some spots where I would not have had a sedan out there. But this guy comes rolling up in this beat up Honda Civic, and it's got a donut on the front left tire. It's got a taped up window. He's this older guy, like a long gray beard, long hair, and and he gets out and there's this younger guy with him and they come up, and at first I was just kind of a little bit like what's about to go down. That's always in the back of your mind when you're out in the sticks, especially
Yep.
if you've ever had a bad encounter with someone. So it's in
Right.
the back of
Yep.
my mind. And so I kind of tell the kids like, hey, y'all hang out by the truck. I'm gonna go see what these guys are doing. And walk over to him. Turns out to be like the nicest guy that I've talked to in a while. He tells me this whole story about how he used to come and camp down on that spot on the Mulberry and how much the geography has changed from the water level rising, and yeah, so he's a super nice guy. They just hang out and chat with us for a little bit, and then they roll out. But yeah, that's it wasn't really funny, but seeing that little sedan bouncing around through those mud holes pulling up, I was like, this is about to be interesting.
Yeah, we're all in these lifted four by four, well, two by fours for me, but lifted off road trucks, and you got this Honda Civic pulling in.
Yeah, he would just like talk about overkill. I'm rolling up here in my little daily driver, rocking and rolling. The other funny part, and I didn't incorporate this in my video, honestly, just because I forgot, but you did in yours, and that was,
Oh,
what
the
I'm gonna say,
radio,
the radio. Talk about it.
radio. So, we're something I've started doing is I like dialogue in my videos. So we all have radios in our trucks. Why not capture it? So right before we left camp, I had stuck, and this I did this with Taylor too, but I had stuck my little DJI mic, which if I have laying around, I could show y'all. But I stuck it. It's magnetic, and I stuck it to the side of my radio and just let it record the entire day. And so there's a ton, but I was able to record some jokes that Caleb's kids got, which was pretty funny. So they are used in my video, and the first joke that was said, we were leaving camp, and Abraham said, "Knock knock." We said, "Who's there?" And he said, "Aliens." And then we said, "Aliens who?" And he said, "Aliens abduct deer."
So stupid,
And we
dude.
get driving down the road, and I'm like, man, I wish we filmed this. And it didn't dawn on me that I was recording this. So that was a cool moment to say that I had that recorded.
Yeah, I loved you incorporating that. I started having to like have them run the jokes by me before they read them because they were getting so absurd. None of them made sense. And I was like, if the joke doesn't actually like make anybody laugh, you have to just shut up because there's like people out there. But they loved it, man. They were having a blast, felt big. The one other funny thing for me was my kids don't like being cold. They don't camp with me when it's super cold outside because they they just don't like it. And so I've got this diesel heater. That thing is a beast and it keeps it super nice and warm. I've told them about this and showed them how comfortable it was in the tent. I was like, man, you can sleep in t-shirt, shorts, you just be comfortable. You don't need it. Anyways, so we get this thing all hooked up and it was relatively chilly, but it wasn't bad. I mean, it was in the
Right.
40s and running this thing and both of them after we've been in the tent for probably an hour or two, both of them like, Dad, can you shut this heater off? It's
I
so
remember
hot.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was
I
just
remember
like,
that.
you guys didn't want to come with me because you're afraid you're gonna be cold. Now you're like, it's so hot. Those things are
Yeah,
sweet.
so uh I don't run a diesel heater yet. I haven't been convinced to buy one yet, unfortunately, but
Okay, hang on. We got
uh
to camp here for just a second. So in your video,
okay.
Taylor asked you how do you guys sleep, and you said I
Yep.
slept great, but somebody else didn't sleep great, and you
Yep.
said I think she got cold. So
Think she
full
got
stop,
cold.
full stop. I've been doing this marriage thing for a little while. You're not married yet, but
Yet.
things keep going the way they are. You will be. So I'm going to give you a little elderly advice.
Oh boy, I'm listening.
Buy the diesel heater.
And a shower privacy thing.
Get them both. And you've gone
Yeah.
with me enough to know I don't typically set up the tent bathroom deal unless Linda's with me or if my wife is with me. But there's just biological differences that make the process a lot less more comfortable for the females than the males. So
So,
get them
but
get them
now
hooked up.
getting on to when we camped together, Savannah said she slept the entire night, and she that was the best night's sleep she had
Yeah, but it
gotten.
was it was also warmer.
It was warmer, but it was still being a sleeping bag, though. At least
So
for
you,
me.
you shouldn't be arguing with me on this. You should just do what I'm saying.
uh, maybe I
Um.
shouldn't buy a lithium battery and just buy a diesel heat. Which I did buy a new battery, by the way.
Oh, did you?
Tired of my crap not working. Yep, I
Wow,
did.
it's time. It's time. I add it to
It
the
was
list.
time.
It's not a necessity. We're about to move out of the cold season anyways, but I think next go around doesn't have to be a Wabasso. You don't have to pay $500 for one. You can get one for $100. But dude, game changer. Consider it.
Oh, consider it. I
All
am going
right.
to get an AC unit, though.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's another nice thing, especially when it's real hot. It just extends the camping season. Both of those things extend the camping season. So that's nice.
Yeah.
What did this is our fifth and final question, and we're about at the 30-minute mark. So what did you enjoy? We've kind of talked about this honestly, but let's go ahead and just hit it. What did you enjoy about the other person's video?
So, first off, I enjoy everything about your videos, though.
Yeah, I guess I mean like this isn't like for
But
us to like I think that I'm more looking at like what's something specific. We can do Taylor's too. I watched his video and I really enjoyed Diamond State Off-Road's take on the experience. Just something that stood out to you that you thought was good, maybe that you might want to incorporate in yours. I know I've got lots of things floating around in my mind from yours, but go ahead.
so I know for yours, overall, the family aspect, finally getting to see a video dedicated to something about family. So you being a dad, that was something I really enjoyed. Seeing that come to life. And then
Yeah.
everybody's happy. It
Yeah.
sets a mood for a video.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely
Everybody's
does.
happy.
It definitely does. When you actually have a good time, and that translate. Sometimes it's fun to watch things go south, with breakdowns or with,
Yeah.
camping. Those can be good videos too. But I'm with you. Sometimes when a trip just goes smoothly, um, it's fun to watch. I was impressed on yours. I always talk to you about like uh shot framing, something that you're particularly good at. And there are multiple of your shots in the fog and just little things like the way you framed out the prepping the firewood. Some shots that I used in my video that you got of Abraham when he was starting the fire. He felt so big getting to hold the torch and all that. So I love that content and the contrast that I would see between how we would approach the same shot um completely differently, like the drive exit shot. And I kind of framed that up as more of a wide shot, and you did it tight with kind of a blurry element in the foreground of the tree.
Hmm.
You just got a great eye for that, and I really like that. I loved in your video too, and this goes to Taylor as well. I thought the adventure bike edition was super cool, just because nobody's doing that. Like
Right.
I know Taylor does a lot more of the kind of the dirt bike stuff, but specifically guys loading bikes with like their camping gear, overlanding off a bike. Um,
Hmm.
I haven't seen a lot of that. I haven't searched for it, but I loved seeing that with you guys.
It's starting to get more popular, I think. But as far as being in the Ozarks, that's the first time I've seen somebody do that in the Ozarks. Which that was Taylor's buddy Brandon. They're like best friends.
Mm-hmm.
That live close together, so they hang out all the time. But it was cool. I think it was cool for Taylor for one of his buddies to actually go with him and camp and also try out his bike on the trails.
Yeah, some of those slippery mud shots where the snow had melted and got everything real like gummy. Those were
Yep.
those were sketchy looking in the trucks, but especially on a bike. Man, at one point where you like almost like just completely blanketed him in mud. He was a little close on you. You kind of
Yep.
slip and just shoot the mud back. I was like, oh, dude, Taylor got a similar shot. That was pretty
Yep.
crazy.
Yep. So in Taylor's video, if you go watch Taylor's video, Diamond State Off Road, um, there's a shot where Brandon on his bike, he kind of drifts a little bit, and Taylor plays the what is it, the Tokyo
Oh, that's what it
song?
was. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, Tokyo Drift
yeah,
thing. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was sick. I didn't catch that, but now that you say it, I totally noticed that. That's
yeah.
cool.
There's little things we all do in our videos that make them great. What'd you
Yeah.
enjoy? What'd you enjoy about chasing the snow?
Oh, your new mic and your voiceover was awesome. Just having the not having to do the DJI stuff is great for on camera audio. It's really good at isolating and moving out kind of the environment noise. But I loved you know, just getting to hear that with so much more clarity, and that sounded great. Um and then the big thing was the snow shots.
Yeah.
Just because I was kind of jealous of that because I didn't get a lot of that. I did get the ice stuff, which was cool, but specifically the snow shots. I saw some other guys in Natural State Overland and Budget Overland that are from this area that got out um when the snow hit and captured some pictures and stuff, and they're just absolutely gorgeous.
So we hit the very end of it, but we were lucky enough to still see some, which was I wanted to see. I wanted the entire thing to be snow, but
Sure.
we hit the end of it. So
So
maybe next
yeah,
time.
yeah, it was great. I think it was really good. Well, dude, we're at the 30-minute mark. I think this one's been good. Do you have anything else you want to touch on before we wrap it up?
Not at the moment. I will say my video did just get posted, so if you haven't watched it, go watch it.
Absolutely. Well, as usual, we put these lives on both of our channels. We'll put links to each other's videos as well as Taylor Diamond State. We'll put his video in there. You guys go check that stuff out if you hadn't got a chance to watch it. Really cool content. I love seeing just the different approaches to getting outdoors and making memories that everybody's doing. It's super cool.
So much fun.
It is. All right. Thanks you guys for watching, and thanks for hanging out. We will see you guys on the next one.